What's up, guys? This is HHTrader back with another video. In this video, we'll be revisiting the topic of uranium. I found a couple of articles that just recently came out. They're barely a day old, but we'll go through them and kind of see what things are heating up in the uranium sector. So let's get into it. Over here on the browser, the first article that I have is from worldnuclearnews.org. So we can see new realities for uranium enrichment, right? And this was like a little bit of a press conference that they had. And this is John Paul Jones speaking at the I said press conference, but a conference that they had, WNFC 2022. All right, so let's see what they have to say. The front end of the nuclear fuel cycle market has been rebalancing itself since 2011. Supply has been significantly below annual requirements, especially in uranium mining and conversion. This gap has been filled by the drawdown of global inventories via the enrichment sector, which has been in oversupply. Operational uranium assets, unlike uranium mines, cannot be easily put into care and maintenance in response of market imbalances. So you can't just switch them off, switch them on, and they just run, right? So what do we do instead? We change our operations to better match the demand with our assets and supply. So doesn't that sound interesting? Think about it. We're looking at uranium. Uranium's been up and down. It's still sitting at about $53 per pound. And we're seeing more and more coverage of this thing. So I'm just sitting here thinking, right? Anyway, we went over this little part in the last video, so we'll go on down here to where enrichment supply outstrips demand. Enrichers will turn to the process known as underfeeding, operating enrichment plants at a lower operational tails assay so that less raw uranium feed is needed to gain the same amount of enriched output. This enables some of the natural uranium to be set by. All right, so we're effectively saving UF6, John says. So do enrichers. Just ignore the market signals. Do they feel the pain? The answer is yes. Looking back at the past 10 years, enrichment projects have been delayed and canceled, Jones said. A new enrichment project at Eagle Rock in the USA was canceled. The bankruptcy of USEC, with prices cited as being too low, and the delays to the GLE laser enrichment project Urenco, ourselves have stopped and scaled back our expansion. We've been through the same hardships as some of the utilities. We've had to reduce people, costs, and written off billions of dollars worth of assets. So there is pain. Other enrichers have pursued different strategies, he said. China's enrichers serve a domestic, growing market that their objective is to grow along with their demand base. Russia, which is the world's largest enricher by far, has over the past decade maintained its very large enrichment capacity. Looking at the primary enrichment market as a whole, there are clear imbalances between supply and demand on a regional basis, Jones said. So if the question is energy independence, how do you address those gaps? The answer, he said, lies both in the short and long-term approaches. Near-term disruptions can be addressed by drawing down strategic inventories across the industry and re-optimizing operations to fully employ enrichment capacity. Enrichers can stop underfeeding, but you've really got to think that one through. He said, it sounds trivial, but the front end fuel cycle is a highly integrated system where will the pinch points? Where will be the pinch points? Conversion would then become a bottleneck if such a strategy were pursued, he said. In the longer term, enrichers can build new capacity, but that's not an overnight strategy. It's going to take time. And like the rest of the fuel cycle, to underpin that investment, there's going to have to be long-term commitments. So we've got to ramp up our production of centrifuges. We need to invest in the workforce. We need storage. We need deconversion facilities, transportation. There's a lot to think about. So just stopping there, we see that issues are being brought up with the production of the tools necessary to maintain mined uranium and the companies going out and acquiring this element, right? So it's sounding quite juicy, is all I'm gonna say. It's sounding quite juicy, and I'll put this link in here in the description if you want to go back and read the end of that. Let's go on to the next one. So this article is from investingnews.com. The story says, top stories this week, expert calls when to buy as gold falls and uranium sees setbacks. So I'm gonna skip the gold and we'll go down to the uranium, right? So uranium, okay. So here, and the guy that's speaking is, let me see, where is his name? Or the lady that's speaking might be, no, yeah, this is a lady, Charlotte McLeod, something like that. Shout out to her. But anyway, down here to the uranium, I want to finish up with a quick note on uranium, where a couple of recent events have caused some concern. First, after climbing steadily in the first few months of the year, the commodity has seen fairly large pullback over the last 2 weeks or so, dropping from $64 per pound to around $53, so losing about $10 per pound. Second, news hit midweek that the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust application to list on the NYSE ARCA has been rejected by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. A press release indicates the trust doesn't meet the exchange's listing standards due to its structure and the nature of physical uranium market. While lower prices and the Sprott Trust roadblock have shaken some market participants, others are less concerned. Justin Hune of Uranium Insider pointed out on Twitter, of course that's just some speculation from Twitter, that while the Sprott Trust decision is disappointing, it's clear that it doesn't need a NYSE ARCA listing to succeed. Okay, so that was what I wanted to pull from this article. Let's go on to the next one. This one was from CMIO.org. It's Germany supported the ban on uranium imports from Russia, and that was a day ago. So Germany supported the initiative to impose an embargo on the uranium supplies from Russia. The Politico portal writes, citing diplomats in the European Union. According to the newspaper, on April 27th, the German envoy announced a change in Berlin's position, saying that Germany is not only in favor of phasing out oil supplies from Russia, but also supports a ban on Russian uranium. Okay, that's what I wanted to pull from that one. Let's go on over here. So this is another article referring to the the SEC Sprott rejection. And I'll leave this one because we pretty much saw the premise of this article, but I'll leave it in the description if you want to read through it. Right? But anyway, next is another article referring to Sprott. So what is Sprott? Let's get over here to Sprott. So this is Sprott's Physical Uranium Trust, and this is their website at sprott.com. And let me make sure, okay, this other article is at bloombergquint.com, and then this is Yahoo Finance, and I'll make sure to reference those in the description as well. But over here, this is sprott.com, and you can come out and check out their trust that they've got. They've been accumulating acquisition of uranium. Like, they are sitting on quite a bit of uranium. And so, you know, for them to get rejected by the SEC is like, does it really matter though? With the way that I mean, when you say buy the dip, these guys have been buying the dip. But let's go ahead and scroll on down the page. We can see their growth. And this is as of the 29th. So this was reported yesterday on Friday, their growth in the trust. Let's look at the overview. The investment objective, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust invests and holds substantially all of its assets in uranium in the form of U3O8. So that's uranium oxide. The goal to provide a secure, convenient, and exchange-traded investment alternative for investors interested in holding uranium. So why invest in UUN? The world's largest physical uranium fund. And these are 5 reasons why to invest here. But the world's largest physical uranium fund, experienced commodity fund manager and uranium technical advisor, liquid and convenient way to own physical uranium, because you know you just can't sit it in your pocket or on your desk. It'll turn you inside out. But let's see, liquid and I already read that one. Transparent daily reporting of net asset and holdings. And as we can see, they did report this right here on Friday. Okay, and the last one is low fees. Now, I have just been kind of looking around this and going through this website, but if you want to see more about Sprott, I can go more in depth. But I want to just show you guys this website so you can check it out for yourself and see what kind of if this site can be a nice little information point for you, so that you can further evaluate uranium. But anyway, the next article, I have one more. Remember at the beginning I said we want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's get to it. So over here at commondreams.org, I have a little bit of an article here. Arizona slammed for permitting a uranium mine that imperils Grand Canyon tribe's water. Okay, so let's read. Uranium contamination in a system like this is forever. And while the mining company can walk away, the Havasupai tribe can't. This is and always has been their home. Okay, and this was written by Brett Wilkins on yesterday, Friday, April 29th. Indigenous and environmental activists on Friday condemned an Arizona agency approval of a key permit for a uranium mine near the Grand Canyon that opponents say threatens the land, water, wildlife, and Native Americans' ancestral obligation to safeguard a place they've called home for centuries, right? So, of course, like I said, there's pros and cons to all of this mining stuff. A lot of the ore or the core of the uranium is on these indigenous lands, and it's just been untapped and untouched. And it's a big problem for the people that want to live and grow things on the land and just have a relatively normal natural lifestyle. And then you have a big mining company coming in and kicking your door down. But hey, like I said, we want to take in all information on this, especially very, very relevant and detrimental news like this. But anyway, that is my video for today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, I love to hear your feedback on some of the things that I went over. I can go deeper in depth into any of these topics if you want me to. Just let me know which one you want and I can make it happen. But anyway, thank you guys for checking it out. Remember to leave your comments down below of what you think. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Peace.